Welcome everyone. Today we're going to see about the remaining two looping statements, which is while and do while. Java while loop. So we know what is used for looping statements. The looping statement is used to iterate a block of code for a number of times. Okay. So the Java while loop is used to iterate a part of the program several times. And if the number of iteration is not fixed, if the iteration number is fixed means we will be using for loop. If it is not fixed means it is recommended to use while loop. A while loop is also a control flow statement that allows code to be executed repeatedly based on the given boolean conditions. Okay, based on the condition, it will repeatedly execute the code. And the while loop can be thought of as a repeating if statement. So this is nothing but a repeated if statement execution. So in if we have a condition, if it is true, it will print the statement. Like that, while also has a condition, until it gets false, the code will be repeatedly executed. So that is why the while loop can be thought of as a repeating if statement. So the syntax is while, then we have a condition, then open curly braces, and the code to be executed. Okay, this is the basic syntax for while loop, Java while loop. In the flow, so start, and we have condition checking. If it is true, it will execute the statement. If it is false, it will go out of the while loop. If it is true, the statement will again get executed. So the flow is start, condition checking. If it is true, the statement gets executed until the conditions become false. Okay. So the while loop starts with the checking of condition. If it is evaluated to true, then the loop body statements are executed. Otherwise, first statement following the loop is executed. For this reason, it is also called entry control loop. So while loop is also called as entry control loop. So once the condition is evaluated to true, the statement in the body are executed. Normally, the statements contain an update value for the variable being processed for the next iteration. Because after the first checking, the condition is true, then the statement gets executed. Then an update of the value for the variable in the condition has to be processed so that the next iteration can be proceeded. When the condition becomes false, the loop terminates, which marks the end of its life cycle. So when the condition becomes false, it will automatically go out of the loop. So let's see with an example. So I'm gonna declare a data variable which is x and initializing that with the value 1. So the syntax is while and a condition. So x less than or equal to 4, open curly braces. Okay. After that, a statement to be executed. System out dot print ln. So print ln will give us the next iteration in the new line. Value of x and the value colon. So for the next iteration, I want to proceed with an update for the variables x. So doing a incrementation. So now if I print, I need to get 4 values. So that's a while loop will get executed. We have also seen an infinite for loop, right? In the same way, we can also print a statement infinite times using just a boolean value which is true. If it is true, the statement will get executed infinite times. We can also find sum of n numbers using while loop. So let's do that. So for that, I want to give a number. I want to declare what data type. Yes. Then another variable sum. Okay. Now the while loop. While the condition is int I less than or equal to num. So let's declare the I before itself instead of equal to. Let's also declare the value I equal to 1. So I want to add the sum of 10 numbers. So for that, sum equal to sum plus the I value. So for every increment, the I value gets changed. So for that, I am using I plus plus. So after adding all those things, I am printing the sum outside the while loop. If you print the sum inside the while loop, you will get a different value. I will show you that also. Copy, then I am printing the same one inside the while loop. So let's check first inside the while loop. So 1 for the first iteration, we are getting 1 for the second, 3, third, fourth, 5, 6 up to 10. We are getting 55. But I want all these to be added in the same variable sum. So for the addition of 10 numbers, we are getting 55. So this is the use of while loop for adding sum of n numbers. This is for we are seeing Java infinite while loop. The condition is while and a boolean value which is true, then the code to be executed for infinite times. Okay, the next one is Java do while loop. So this do while loop is used to iterate a part of or a block of code several times. And it is also if the number of iteration is not fixed, and you must have to execute the loop at least once, means we can use do while loop. If the number of iteration is fixed, we use for loop. If the number of iteration is not fixed, it is recommended to use while. If the number of iteration is not fixed and you want to execute the loop at least once, then it is recommended to use do while loop. Do while loop is also similar to while loop. The only difference is that it checks for condition after executing the statement. So we know while loop is a entry control loop. Do while is a exit control loop. Okay. It checks for a condition after executing the statement. So that is the main difference between while and do while loop. So here is the syntax. Do open curly braces, then the code to be executed, then closing the curly braces with the while and a condition to be checked. So this is the flow. So do while starts with the execution of the statements. There is no checking of any condition for the first time. So for the first time, the statement will get executed without any checking of the conditions. After the execution of the statements and update of the variable value, the condition is checked for true or false value. So only after the execution of the statement, the condition is checked for true or false value. If it is evaluated to true, next iteration of loop starts. When the condition becomes false, the loop terminates and goes out of the looping statement. And it is important to note that the do while will execute its statement at least once before any condition is checked. Okay. We can also see an example for do while loop. So the condition or the syntax for do while int and a variable. So do open curly braces, then a statement while the condition. I want to print 10 numbers. So 1 to 10 gets printed. Let's shorten this. And I want to give I equal to 6. The condition is false, but still the statement gets executed. That is the main use of do while loop. We can also execute a statement infinite times in the do while loop also. So for that, we will just use the Boolean value in the condition loop, like we did in the while loop. While a true Boolean value. So the infinite loop gets started. So that's how we can print a loop or a statement infinite times using the for loop. Oh, sorry, using the do while loop. So, so the next thing is Java break statement. When a break statement is encountered inside a loop, the loop is immediately terminated and the program control resumes at the next statement following the loop. So which means the Java break statement is used to break a loop or the switch statement. It breaks the current flow of the program at a specified condition. In case of inner loop, it breaks only the inner loop. So that is the use of break statements. We can use Java break statements in all type of loops such as for loop, while and do while loop. So the flow is condition within the loop true, and I want to break it out of the iteration. False means goes out of the whole loop. So that is the use of Java break statements in loops. So let's see for loop, while and do while loop with a break statement. So for initializing int I equal to 1, then I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. So inside the for loop, I'm going to use another condition to break out of the iteration. So I equal to 5. So I'm going to use the Java break statement here. After that, system dot out dot print ln, then printing the I. So what I have done here is I'm using a for loop initializing the I value of 1. So I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. So this is inside the for loop system dot out dot println of I. So it will print the I value from 1 to 10. But I want to break the loop at some point of the code. So for that I am using a condition with the if statement. So if I is equal to 5, when this condition becomes true, I want to break out of the iteration. Okay. So when I becomes 5, 5 equal to 5, which is true, then it will go inside the loop and a break. So it will go out of the for loop. So I am getting printed 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is the use of break statement in the for loop. We can also use break statement with inner loop. In nested loops, we can also use break statement to break out of the inner loop. Let's see with that example. So for int I equal to 3, say I equal to 1, then I less than or equal to I plus plus. So this is the outer loop. So after that I am going to use an inner loop j equal to 1 and j less than or equal to 3, then j plus plus. I want to specify a condition to break out of the loop. So if I is equal to 2, then I want to check both the conditions. It's for that using a logical AND. and j equal to 2. That time I want to break out of the loop. So system out dot print ln of I j. So when I becomes 2 and j becomes 2, that time I want to break out of the inner loop. So in previous for loop, we never had after the fifth value. But here after 2 and 2, we are getting the values because only the inner loop gets breaked. So the outer loop gets continued. So again, it start the iterations. So next is Java break statement with a labeled for loop. So we have seen labeled for loop, right? So giving a label for the outer loop in the same way for the inner loop also. So now mentioning which label to be break. So I equal to 2 and j equal to 2. When this condition becomes true, I want to break a, which means the outer loop. So before we break the inner loop, we had 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3. Now I am breaking the outer loop using the label. Now the output we should get us this thing. Okay. Yeah. Now we are getting only the 4 outputs. So I am breaking the outer loop. So there will be no further iteration. So the next is using the while loop. So int I equal to 1, then break statement using the while loop. So the condition is I less than or equal to 10. So I want to give a condition for the break. So I should be equal to 5 and break system dot out dot print ln of I I plus plus. So if we run this, we will get only 1, 2, 3 and 4 because the loop gets break when this condition becomes true. Okay, this is the use of break statement with the while loop. We can also perform the same operation for the do while loop. So do in a condition I equal to 5, where I gets incremented for the next iteration and a break. System dot out dot print ln of I. I plus plus, then the condition I should be less than or equal to 10. Scale 6. So this is how the break is used. So in do while, the statement will get initially executed. So I am giving the condition before itself. So the next one is Java continue statement. So like break, the continue is also a keyword. Continue keyword is used in the loop control statement when you need to jump to the next iteration of loop immediately. The Java continue statement is used to continue the loop. It continues the current flow of the program and skips the remaining code at the specified condition. In case of inner loop, it continues the inner loop only. So break will goes out of the loop. The continue will skip that particular iteration. So the syntax is statement and the continue keyword. This is also used in all the three loops, for loop, while and do while loop. So let's see with an example for the continue statement. For int I equal to 1, then I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. So after that I want to specify a condition. So I equal to 5. Then the continue statement. Continue statement. So if we use break, the output we get is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's see what we get if we use continue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when the condition becomes true, that particular iteration gets skipped. So after they continue, the remaining code will be skipped and the next iteration continues. This is the use of continue statement in the for loop. Let's see where for the nested for loop. So I 3, another for loop j equal to 1, j less than or equal to 3, j plus. So here I want to give two conditions. So 2 gets skipped. Okay. So this is the use of break, sorry, continue statement, okay, in the for loops. We can see some of the programs based on the control statements in the next video. Okay, thank you.